complimentary glass of wine, beer, or soda. Feel free to come alone or book an entire party. It's as simple as 3-step process. Pick your stains, pick your product, then blend your custom scent.
10 seconds.
Our process is easy, hands-on, and just makes sense. Contact us at brownhousecandles.com. Visit our webpage, brownhousecandles.com.
I'm so tidy.
And find us on Instagram or Facebook at Brownhouse Candles with an S.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on the mic with Mike. As I said, this is a fast-moving program today. I'd like to thank my man, Coach David Anderson. You want to get your kids in shape for the upcoming basketball season fundamentals. That's what they do. They're unbreakable. Up next, this lady's doing some big-time things out there. She's all over the internet. This is her claim to fame, the Minnesota Sports Gal who's out there, Sherry Cernan. She's a friend of the program. She's been with us on ESPN. She's doing some really cool things out there. So as I said, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Sherry, and I am a writer for Minnesota Twins Daily for the Minnesota Twins Beat. And I also am the owner, CEO, and founder of Kids on First,
which is promoting baseball for minority kids in the Tri-Cities area. You have a really big event coming up, don't you?
I do. I have an event with Virginia State University Baseball, the Squirrels, and the Tri-City Chili Peppers. And we're going to be down there with some of the baseball players, letting the kids throw the ball around with the guys, having some lunch, and just chilling out with us for a couple hours.
So you're not from the area, but what you've done is you came here and you saw something and you're making a difference. So tell people what they can expect from your event.
From the event, I have actually been working with a branding marketer who her name is Latasha, and she is a Quest business consultant. And we are hoping to get into underprivileged areas where there are mostly minority children who don't have access to baseball. And we are going to bring them baseball players, access to equipment, access to funds so that they can get involved. And at the event, we're going to have some of the Flying Squirrels. We're going to have some of the Tri-City Chili Peppers who also attend some of the local colleges around here, the HBCUs. And so these kids will come to this event, and there's also going to be lunch there and some games and things like that. But they're going to see baseball players that look like them. Because right now in Major League Sports, outside of, the Field of Dreams game last night, which was just on point with Ken Griffey Jr. and his father.
So we can get this out of the way for people who don't know. You are a baseball junkie.
Yeah, junkie. I am.
For sure. And you go way back.
I go way, way back. I actually remember going to the Minnesota Twins playoffs in 1987.
Okay, and you're a writer of baseball. So what you do is you see something missing. You see an area where there's need for baseball, something for kids, and you make magic happen. But as you said, when we've had you on ESPN, you did talk about some of the partners that you have and the things that you need. Let's still talk about that once again.
Awesome. Well, I do have Quest Business, who's my branding manager. I have 804 Snack Drawer, who is going to be providing snacks and bottled water and ice cream for the kids after they finish their lunch, which is being provided by Rayfield's Lawn Care. Tanya Blanchett is actually going to be there taking professional pictures so that we can submit it to the media so that the media can see what exactly is going on in their own backyard. A&N Designs are actually providing our t-shirts and poetic blends as well. And Keeley Events is going to be managing the day where we are still looking to pick some things up as we want to give the kids some memorable things to take home.
Okay, what are the type of things that you're trying to pick up?
Well, how cool is it to go to a baseball game and take a baseball and a marker with you and get signatures from baseball players, right? So true. We are looking for baseballs. We're looking for markers. We're looking for pictures that the kids can have signed and put into a little bag that they can take around all the players.
All righty. The date of the event is?
It is on September 3rd, 10 to 2 at VSU.
There you go, Sherry Cernan out there. And how can people find you guys for your social media?
I am really excited, you guys. Since talking to you last, I have my own social media now for the nonprofit. It's on Instagram. It is on Facebook It is Kids on First Foundation.
I
and
saw that. I did see
I
that.
move fast. I've been up late at night making sure this thing goes off. And I also have a website with a donation link now. So if you can't make it to the event,
Send the money.
send us money,
Send the
baby.
money.
Let's send the money.
That's right. You know, I mean, it'd be great if you were there.
Yeah.
But if your money's
here.
there,
If your money's there, it's like you're there in
it
spirit.
is. That's what we're talking about. Cernan is out here. Yes, and she's out there doing really cool things. She's a friend of the program. Make sure you support her. She is out there doing some really cool things. All right, really quickly, baseball update. How your Twins doing?
We slightly fell out of first place, which is okay because the Yankees continue to lose, so it doesn't bother us too
Oh.
much. We're ready to
I said that. These are Yankees. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can see the
What
look
is
on
going
her-
on in
If you-
here?
Okay, we
Y'all
got
in the
David
house.
Anderson here. All these Yankee fans. I'm a Phillies fan. Nobody gets that.
Yeah,
look,
you're
but
not a threat to me.
I don't. There you go.
But I'm with
But
you.
no,
we're
we're doing great. It was nice to see the Field of Dreams last night. It was beautiful. Baseball's hot right now.
That is true.
Baseball is hot, so this is
So
perfect.
there's no more dog days in summer?
There's no more dog days of summer, my friend. Even the Phillies are getting respect.
Put some respect on our name.
Put some respect on your name.
Ladies. So Cherry Cernan is here. We'd like to thank you for coming in.
Absolutely.
Once again, how can people find you out there?
Kids on First Foundation and Minnesota Sports Gal on Instagram.
There you go, follow her. She's out there doing some really big things. Up next is a friend of ours, Coach Candace is coming in. We're gonna talk about some holistic living and some really cool things that she's doing. This is on the mic with Mike. As I said, we're moving quick today. Steph B, the Brooklyn Betty with the business breakdown. She's coming on down the road. We got Coach Erica. She's in just a little bit, so we'll talk to you soon.
That I advise my clients all the time, because people tell me that all the time. They'll say, oh yeah, I have my money in my savings account, or I'll save the money, whatever have you. And what I normally advise people, I said, honestly, the best place to actually house money is in a life. If you're going to house money anywhere, house it in a life insurance policy. It doesn't have to necessarily be a final expense policy, but any kind of life insurance instrument, your money is actually better there than actually sitting in a bank.
Absolutely, because and I guess what we're the reason why that is a great recommendation is because in a life insurance policy, especially a lot of the newer policies, there are little parameters that are there where your money can't be you can't lose your money. Now I know like in a variable situation, it's a little bit different, right? But like in some of these IULs and whole life policies,
Right.
even
they have safer instruments out there that, for those, who are conservative, they have some instruments out there that are for the conservative folks.
exactly. So sitting it in a bank, it's just, if that's where your money is sitting right now, and you're saying that is what I'm doing in order to prepare for, when the Lord calls me home, I think we need to reassess some things here. Now, Claude, what are some other great features? Because I understand, some people may say, I can't qualify to get insurance because I have high blood pressure, or I have lupus, or I have cancer. So can you talk to our listeners a little bit about, some of the features, how insurance is today versus how it was before, because before it was hard to get insured for those types of things.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point, Erica. So with final expense life insurance, that's actually one of the key benefits to a lot of people, especially with pre-existing conditions. Because everyone today, doctors are putting people on high blood pressure medication, diabetes, or cancer, or even a heart condition, or even, let's be honest, some people are categorized, quote unquote, overweight. So one of the good things about final expenses is that when you apply for these kind of policies, final expense, they overlook a lot of those things. So basically there's a high acceptance rate, almost close to 98%, 99% acceptance rate. So a lot of people actually avoid going into the life insurance conversations because they feel that they're disqualified. But actually, final expense is one of the most lenient avenues to get coverage. Quick, easy process. a few simple questions answered, you'll get a qualification process right away versus like sometimes, if you do get the larger policies, there are a few underwriting, avenues that you have to go through. But with final expense, that is a very easy, I like to call it jet issue, where you'll kind of know on the spot whether you qualify. But the good thing is that most people do, even with pre-existing health conditions.
So, so let's kind of go through the process again. So what you're saying is that when they sit with someone like yourself to discuss what their needs are, then you do a basic application. Now, in that application, do you ask health questions?
Yes, we have health questions, but it's actually to determine which policy you'll qualify for. So they're not they're very generic health questions, but it's basically to find out which way you're going to fall in regards to the qualification. So either one way or another, you're going to qualify for a program, but it's just finding out which one you do. That's why it's a 99% approval rate. And most people that typically apply with, final expense companies, they're approved with what they call same day coverage, which basically means that the moment that you pay that first premium, your policy does begin right away.
Okay. So Claude, what are some other things that you would want our listeners to know about final expense? Because see, today's show is really good because I know there's a lot of people out here that don't have it. Some people may even say, I can't afford another bill to have life insurance. It's something I know I need, but can I really afford it? Before we go any further, can you address that question?
Yes. And so, Erica, what I always advise all my clients, whether you can afford it or not, just the same way that you go to the doctor to go get a checkup, I advise anyone, whether you can afford it or not, these things need to be planned. So that's my biggest advice for anyone, because I run across people on limited budgets all the time. But if you plan for it, you can literally, build your plan up. So sometimes that might be setting aside $20 a month. That might mean you might have to stop eating out somewhere. But one thing I do recommend is that you do sit with someone, who is in the life insurance arena, and take the time to do an annual review, right? Even if you're not going to purchase anything, just do an annual review, because I run into a lot of clients too who've had policies for a long time. And then what you'll find is that you don't even have the right plan, especially like if you haven't seen anyone in a long time. So just the same way that you go to the doctor to get an annual checkup, you should get a life insurance checkup as well too. And so just sitting down with a life insurance agent and just getting a review of where you are, what can you afford, and just kind of plan for it. So if you don't have a budget for, at least you can plan for it, so that now you can set aside a few dollars, to go get a plan. And the thing about it is that you'll be very surprised, what kind of plan can be, created for you once you actually do have a sit-down appointment. And I would venture to say that most life insurance agents do a free annual review. They're not going to charge you for it. So just having the meeting, you'd be surprised on what kind of creativity ways that can be allotted for a life insurance policy. Because I have to do that sometimes too, where I might have to have a friend or a family member, because you said in the beginning, if people care about you, or even the other way around, you care about them, someone sometimes will even, pay your life insurance policy for you for a little while, right, and then get it even transferred over to you. So it's just creating multiple ways on how things can be done.
Right. And when we have these conversations, there are several things that I've seen throughout my lifespan that brings me to why life insurance is so important. Again, we're going to have another, I'll have someone else on and we'll talk in more detail of how life insurance creates wealth. But we want to just kind of talk from the standpoint of how it's, just having it in place protects your family, it protects you, it protects your business, because it actually allows for what you want to happen when you go. Now, of course, the will directs it, right? The will directs it, but the money will help you to facilitate the direction of what you want to happen. But I know we're getting to the end of the show today, but I want to share with everyone, it's not about if we're going to be called home. It's a point of we don't know when it'll happen. When I was in my 20s, my grandmother and I went by because I was taking my kids to my mother's home. And we went by my grandmother's house and I gave her this big hug, let her hug the kids and kiss the kids. Well, my girls, my son was with his godmother, but we were smiling and laughing. Everything was great. And the next day, when I was at work, I got a phone call that she had passed on. That's how quick life ends. And if she did not have everything in line, could you imagine what we would have went through having to grieve? Number one, what happened? She was just laughing in good cheer and everything was great, to now she's no longer here. So we went through our mourning process. But because she had insurance in place for us to be able to take care of her affairs and life after her, could you have imagined? And I like to tell stories and make them so relevant, because we cannot keep saying that we're going to get around to a thing, because getting around to a thing can actually be too late. So, Claude, is there anything else you would like to share with our listeners before we sign off on today?
Yeah, just the main thing is just like you said, and I didn't even know that about you, Erica. So yes, that right there, you just brought some home. Because that's one thing that we can't predict. And guys, we even just left or not really leave, but we just came out of, or kind of like the COVID situation. So I know that's a little sensitive, and so even during that time, a lot of people had no idea, that people were going to leave this earth. But at the same token, just like you said, people used to say, here today, gone tomorrow, but now it's like here today, gone today.
Yes.
And so the main thing is that, we don't want to make it seem like a gloomy conversation, but we do want to be proactive. Let's be proactive and definitely, take care of these important things. Getting insurance, life insurance, is an act of love. That's what I always tell people. It's an act of love. So don't look at it as like a bad thing. These are just important conversations. So because they are kind of gloomy, when I talk to my clients, I enjoy making it a fun experience. Now I actually do make them feel the emotion side of it. But I do my best, to make it an uplifting conversation, because it's very educational, very informational, and just again, it's just an act of love.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just on a side note, just to lighten it up just a little bit, for those of you out here looking to create wealth, life insurance, insurance as a whole is the first step in wealth building. Even before you buy that house, even before you invest on the stock market, the insurance is the first step. It's called protection. Hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning in on today and listening to Coach Talks. I am your host, Coach E, and I look forward to seeing and speaking with each one of you on next week. Have a blessed and prosperous weekend.